Councilmember Ambrose for a moment of silent reflection and the pledge.
Please join me for a moment of silence. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Rush, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Here.
Councilmember Ambrose.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Good evening.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Here.
Councilmember Marriott.
Here.
Councilmember Rupert.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Rupert from tonight's evening, or event, or meeting, or whatever.
From tonight's proceedings. Not a whatever on the record. There we go. All votes are cast. That passes 6-0. Councilmember Rupert is an excused absence. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for August 19th and September 2nd, 2025. Are there any edits or corrections to the record? Seeing none, those stand approved. Tonight, we have one recognition, and Councilmember Pfeiffer will give us the proclamation for Constitution Week.
Thank you, Mayor. Would Kristen Husby? Okay. Kristen's with the chapter regent of the Dr. Susan Anderson chapter, National Society Daughters of American Revolution, is here to join me in this proclamation. So I'm going to read the proclamation. I'll bring it down to you right afterwards. Whereas September 17, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable, sorry, man, a lot of big words tonight. Thank you for doing that. Or maybe it's just me and my contacts causing me problems. Anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Arvada, Colorado, hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering the lost rights may never be regained. Dated the 16th day of September 2025, signed by the Mayor and all of Council, and I'll bring that down to you, and if you have a few words, you can chime in.
Would the group like to come be in the photo? Sure, come on down. Yeah, come on, Council. Get our steps in. If you'd like to say a few words?
Yes, I would, Madam Mayor. It is an extreme honor to be here with you and your council members, and I appreciate this opportunity, especially in this next coming year, where America is celebrating 250, and Colorado will be celebrating 150. So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have no presentations on this evening's schedule, so I'll move us into public comment. This is our 3-minute public comment. I'll go ahead and, we have a lot of signups this evening, so I'll go ahead and give the sort of the quick rules of the chamber. We always ask that you state your name and address for the public record when you come up to the microphone, just so that it's available via documentation. In addition, we always ask that you keep your comments directed to us, the council. Please don't try to address anyone who may also be in chambers. We also always ask for the simple rules of decorum, so please no booing, but conversely, that also means no applause. We want everyone to feel welcome and supported as they come up here in a safe environment for them to be able to share their thoughts with us, no matter what that may be. So with that, I will bring forward Stephen K. Paulson. Perfect. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here tonight, Stephen Paulson, 8020 West 72nd Place in Arvada. I'm here to talk about the utility easements in our backyards all across Arvada. With the latest drilling in my backyard by Quantum Fiber, I now have 7 cables buried in my backyard. They include Comcast, CenturyLink, Quantum Fiber, 3 XL cables, and a mystery cable that's thrown on the ground, and no one seems to know who owns it. Each of the flags you see represents a company that has unlimited access to my backyard. Over the past month, I've had more than a dozen contractors show up telling me to unlock my gate so they can mark their lines, drill holes, drill the cables that they wanted, and now they want service access to hook up their cables. These companies also have 4 service towers and boxes in my backyard. When the contractor said if we refuse, they can call the police. I'm also liable for any damage I caused to their cables. I ran over the mystery cable with my lawnmower and it destroyed my mower. I drew the line when Quantum Fiber said they were going to bring in a small drilling machine to jam through more cable. I told them they could bring the small machine up the side of my house. They said it would not work because it was too big and they would tear down my fence. I drew the line then. I paid $18,000 to have my front yard xeriscaped and didn't want it destroyed. The city now controls more than 2,400 square feet of what used to be my backyard when I first purchased it. The city took 800 square feet for West 72nd Avenue, chopped down my 8 apple trees, built a wall, took another 800 square feet for a new easement, and left 8 stumps in my backyard after promising to restore my property. They said they cannot remove the stumps without ripping out the cables you see that are tangled in the stumps. The city also controls 800 feet of my front yard. The city also took down my ham radio antenna and refused to replace it, and it cost me $1,000 to replace it. Please note, city regulations say I have to get permission from all 7 companies who control these cables before I can xeriscape my backyard. I want to put xeriscaping in the yard, and I need permission to do it. I'm here to ask you to please stop auctioning off my backyard for franchise fees. The whole purpose of franchises is to limit the number of cables that include phone lines and everything else, and there are other options. Quantum Fiber said this was the cheapest solution. Contractors told me they could put the cables in the gutters on 72nd Avenue, in the streets of our cul-de-sac, under the sidewalk, or even in the bright and brown ditch over Indian Tree Golf Course. Companies already doing this in other parts of Arvada. You also have options as a city council to deal with this. You, the city council, could pass an ordinance requiring notification of homeowners of drilling plans and require them to make an appointment. Quantum posted a notice on my door 2 days before they began drilling, offered to set up an appointment. I called to set up an appointment, haven't heard back a month from now.
Sir, with apologies, your time is up, but I'll give you about a few seconds just to close your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. The other option would be to provide some kind of compensation, since I'm going to have to provide service in perpetuity for these people to get in my backyard to service their boxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ann LaFoon.
Good evening. I'm speaking on behalf of the Arvada Historical Society, and I'm with my fellow board member, Lisa Crespin. It is September, and that means it's time for the Arvada Historical Society Cemetery Tour. So our tour is this Saturday, September 27th. We're starting early this year at 8:30 a.m., going to 12:30 a.m. And we are so delighted that this year we'll be focusing on our first responders, our early volunteer fire department, and our early police officers. You know, for us, history is a story that helps inform our present. And by looking at the past, we learn cautionary tales, we learn tales of optimism, and we learn about ourselves by understanding our past. A cemetery is a history of people and a perpetual record of yesterday and a sanctuary of peace and quiet for today. So we invite all of the city council members, everyone here, and we'd like to let the town know we're hosting this event again. As program chair of the Arvada Historical Society programs, I also want to put a plug in for our new speaker series called History Speaks. Our first series was on the history of ditches in Arvada, because this city was built on ditches. We rely on the water. We had 155 people attend this event, and we want to thank the Elks Lodge for hosting it for us. Our next event is going to be on where your water comes from today, and we're so delighted that we'll have members of the city municipal water system as well as past city employees discussing where our water comes from and how we purify it and deliver it today. So that's October 18th. Tickets for the cemetery tour are available on historyarvada.org. Kids under 8 are free. We also have a gift for the city council members. As you may know, the Arvada Historical Society has published a series of books on the history of Arvada. We would like to gift each of the council members, Mr. Wick and the city attorney, a book valued under the amount that you're allowed to receive. Though it's priceless. I also want to plug that the editor of this book was Lloyd Gorell. Lloyd Gorell was 4 years old when he went on his first volunteer fire department run. The city had bought the first you may have seen the red fire truck we have. Well, Lloyd's dad was a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter. At that time, there were only 25, and you had to pay 25 cents a month to be a volunteer firefighter. So they got the call, and Lloyd was hanging out with his dad, and they threw Lloyd in the front seat and took off to go fight the fire. Well, Lloyd later became a firefighter. He became the editor of the first Arvada newspaper. He was a founder of the Arvada Historical Society, and we're honoring him along with Chief Nick Skinner and Officer Ed McCarthy, who you may know had the love bug called Siren Says, and that will be at the cemetery from 8:30 to 10. So
Ms. LaFoon, your time is up.
Sorry. History's fascinating to us all. Lisa,
Okay,
is there
thank
anything
you.
else?
No, there's nothing else. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
And we hope to see you there.
We hope to see you there. It should be fun and inspiring.
You packed a lot in. Good job.
And by the way, you guys, there's an application to join the Historical Society.
Your
in
time
book.
is up. Come on. Don't make me be a bad guy, Miss LaFoon. All right. Nicholas Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Nicholas Miller. I live at 13851 West 66th Way in Arvada. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and my colleagues tonight. To contextualize why I am here in a more general sense, I am here as part of a larger movement of citizens speaking to city councils across Colorado on the topic of the genocide of the Palestinian people. I know that your duties are focused, so my comments may seem out of place, but I do think it's important to bring this up in a public fashion. My intention is to urge the members of this body to do whatever it can to break ties with Israel, as well as condemn and stand against the genocide of the Palestinian people. I know it may seem like Arvada City Council is small and separate from the larger international community, but every person and organization in this country plays an important part in the larger system in which we all exist, and I believe that we all play that part in standing up for what is right, no matter how small. Action to end the genocide can be made at a governmental level, but also at an individual level by each of us. Stopping and preventing genocide is one of the most important ethical tasks humanity has been burdened with. No matter which political, religious, or monetary affiliation we each may have, we have the responsibility to stand firmly against genocidal action in any form. I cannot form opinions for you, but I ask that each of you do everything within your personal and governmental power to condemn this genocide, cut ties with the state of Israel, and take time to learn about the plight of the Palestinian people. You may have seen the news this morning that the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the occupied Palestinian territory has released their conclusion and evidence that Israel is committing a genocide. Please, if you can, take the time to review this information, setting aside any personal or partisan associations. Thank you again for taking the time to listen to me speak.
Thank you. All right. Remember, no applause, but thank you. All right, Carol Napier.
Hello, my name is Carol Napier. I live at 11231 West 54th Avenue. In an article in The Guardian this week, an ex-Israeli defense chief confirmed that Israel has killed and maimed over 200,000 people. That is more than 10% of Gazans. This number is notable because it comes close to the current figures provided by Gaza's health ministry, which Israeli officials have frequently dismissed as Hamas propaganda. This 200,000 includes at least 18,000 dead children. The United States has provided Israel with $22 billion to kill and maim these 200,000 Gazans. According to Senator Bernie Sanders, 70% of the funds used in the killing, maiming, and starving of Palestinians has come from the United States government, which means that hundreds of thousands of dollars have come from taxpayer money here in Colorado, and about $7 million of that money came from Arvadans. $70 million. Who will stand against the moral atrocity of killing more than 18,000 Palestinian children? We know that it will not be the White House, no matter which party occupies it. Mr. Biden gave Mr. Netanyahu a bear hug and lent the full weight of his presidency to sending $18 billion to Israel and blocking any attempt by the international community to hold Israel accountable. You might find it interesting to know that Mr. Biden was the single largest recipient of pro-Israel lobby donations in the country at a whopping $5,688,000. And Mr. Trump has taken over where Mr. Biden left off, giving Israel everything it wants. Who will stand against the moral atrocity of killing more than 18,000 Palestinian children? It won't be our senators, and it won't be our U.S. representative. Together, Hickenlooper, Bennett, and Pedersen have accepted over $900,000 from the American Israel Political Action Committee and other PACs with ties to Israel. The three of them sent more than $360 million of Colorado taxpayer money to Israel to kill, starve, and maim the Palestinian children. So who will stand against the moral atrocity of killing more than 18,000 Palestinian children? It must be us, those of us at the local level who have not been bought off by campaign funds in support of a foreign government. I ask you today to be morally strong and issue a very brief statement. We, the members of Arvada City Council, do not support sending any of Arvadan taxpayer money to Israel. 18 powerful words for the more than 18,000 children who have been killed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have two articles I would like to share with the council. I'll leave them with
You
the
can
clerk.
give those to Ms. Rush, please. All right, thank you. Next, we have Karen Gerbach.
Hello. Karen Gerbach, 6872 Juniper Court in Arvada, and I'm here representing Friends of Ralston Creek Neighborhoods. Could I show some?
Yes, we'll have the screen put up for you. There you go.
This is 6800 Kilmer. It's been 14 acres of a contaminated landfill for almost 100 years, so part of our history. Good timing tonight. It was owned by individuals and corporations that operated as a dump until it was closed down but not cleaned up. One of the owners in the 80s spent $1.5 million, which you can see on the screen. And the next owner, Chelton, the developer currently, bought it on December 12th for $85,000 for back taxes. There were geotechnical reports on the property, written in 82 and 92, all cautioning against development without full cleanup. Chelton knew full well that the property it was buying for pennies had big problems. In 2021, the Carlson family, which develops storage facilities all over Colorado, brought the idea to build an RV storage facility to Chelton. Carlson bowed out in 2022, and Chelton became the developer. You can see how close the Ralston Creek and Trail and the Colorado Tap House and multiple residential areas are to this landfill, and understand why we are so concerned about the impact of this incompatible development will have on our lives, property values, and business growth. This is a Jeffco map right out of the property tax area, which shows all the property lines and shows that the Ralston Creek, as well as the inadequate detention pond that's being required if they build, where runoff will solely run into the creek, and the bank area that collapsed in 2013 flood still has not been permanently repaired. The plume in pink is the methane plume that sits under a majority of this 14 acres. The most recent technical geotechnical report in 23 by Terracon, Chelton's engineering firm, cautioned that flat work constructed on unimproved landfill debris will move significantly and will likely require frequent observation and maintenance in addition to full replacement multiple times over the development, especially with the requirement for the roadbed to support an 85,000-pound fire truck with the methane plume that resides under most of the acres.
Time has expired. I will give you just a quick second to close your thoughts.
Okay, closing thoughts. Why not change the LDC to mixed-use PUD to match the comp plan, allowing this large undeveloped property to get a real opportunity to contribute to the vibrancy of Arvada due to its prime location just east of the Croak work zone's 1.5 million improvements?
That's
Okay,
goodbye.
that was my closing.
I'll see you next week. Next, we have Sharon McCarthy.
Hi, I'm Sharon McCarthy, 6688 Kendrick Drive, 80007. I'm responding to a comment from the last City Council meeting. Quote, I think we need to help an owner find a way to have a use for this property. My reply is based on past advice I received as follows. Don't come to me with a problem unless you have 3 possible solutions. So I suggest a solar farm, pickleball courts, or a golf complex. A golf complex is a link to the nearby Westwoods Golf Course located on Ralston Creek Trail. It is accessible by foot or by car. It provides a go-to destination area for individuals for all ages and stages. The golf complex would include a miniature golf course, putting greens, and a top golf area for non-golfers. Stations with golf simulators located on the perimeter of the property would provide year-round use. Yearly membership fees pay for activity, and private events support a business model. A fun time at the golf complex might proceed to the Colorado Tap House for a casual meal or a special treat at a future ice cream shop. We admit that a parking lot for 355 vehicles will make 355 RV owners happy. However, we wonder if a family-centric business might appeal to a greater number of citizens. We look to the success of the Colorado Tap House and understand that neighbors want to stay and play close to home. They want to contribute to the local economy. Adding pocket neighborhood businesses when developing Rawson Trail will provide a go-to destinations for trail users. The current developer provided well-documented evidence of challenges associated with the reuse of this property. These challenges are clearly described in the 2023 Terracon Geotechnical Report. The developer's expert witness provided an in-depth review of many challenges in November 2024. In addition, neighbors submitted tons of research about the challenging subsurface character of unregulated landfills. A golf complex is an opportunity to recognize these challenges. A well-designed and environmentally responsible development provides a model for other communities to emulate. The Ruby Hill Bike Trail in Denver is one success story. A golf complex on Kilmer Street has potential to be an example of thoughtful and responsible land use. Is return on investment measured only in dollars and cents rather than quality? As stated in Division 1-1-2-1, the provisions of this code shall be considered the minimum requirements for general welfare. This statement aligns with the 2014 Comprehensive Plan. Goals and policies help guide development and investment decisions that have a direct bearing on the quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Elaine Fitzgerald.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. And I've been here before, as many of us have. I'm just here to comment on what I heard last month at this meeting. I live at 6762 Kilmer Court, directly south of this proposed storage yard. My husband, Jerry Spann, and I bought this property in April of 1998. When we were thinking about buying this property, we asked the realtor, "What's that property over there?" He said, "Oh, that's an old landfill. It's, been there for years and years and years." So I ask you, have you ever heard of the adage, buyer beware? There is no reason that this purchaser would not have known that this property needed incredible amount of mitigation because it was a landfill with gases, etc. I also noticed at the last meeting that I think it was Mr. Rupert, and he said, "I think that we need to help an owner find a way to have a use for property." Personally, I don't think that that is the city's responsibility. I believe that everybody that makes a purchase should figure out his own problem. I have been dealing with this since we got a letter in December 2021. Please end this nonsense because we are tired of the stress and the anguish that this has caused us. I am a proud resident of Arvada. I volunteer for CERT. I work parades. I do lots of things for this city. I ask you to think about your residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Sean Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Sean Adams, 6525 Dover Street. I'm not as prepared as a lot of people, and I didn't expect this many people here. This is great. So, wow. Officer McCarthy, that name, I've been here in Arvada for 50 years. My parents moved from Texas to Arvada in 1975. And I remember Officer McCarthy as a kid in 5th and 6th grade at Peck Elementary. And that's a couple questions that I have is, number one, I appreciate what you're doing. I live right behind Peck, and Mayor Simpson, you came to visit our street 2 years ago. And I really do appreciate the time and effort that you came out to look at our street. And Peck, you guys keep up Peck perfectly, except they mow at 7 o'clock in the morning, but that's okay. I can get up that early in the morning anyway. But my question to you is I always have people coming by the house or walking by the street wondering what's going to happen to Peck because nothing's happened in the past 2 years since it's been closed. The second thing that I would like to ask is, Mayor Simpson, is 2 years ago when we spoke, and you were very eloquent in everything that we spoke about, the streets in Arvada, point blank, suck. The last time we spoke, you said that the reason why my street, which, like I say, I've lived in the same house for 50 years. My parents bought it in 75, and we've lived right behind PEG. That the street has never been repaved, and it looks terrible. And that it kills me every day that I have to go up and down that street. The last time we spoke, I think it was an ADA situation, and there were no plans on redoing the street for 2 or 3 years since we spoke. And I'm like, I just want to reassert. I'm like, one of these days I'd like to see the streets in Arvada get better. I know that you guys focus on certain areas between 58 and 62nd, and that's between Garrison and Carr. I think those streets have been done 3 times, repaved 3 times, and I'm hoping that you take it into effort that you look at Arvada and you start focusing on the streets on the back end, not on the front end where everybody sees, but on the back end where, like I say, it hasn't been done in 50 years, and they're terrible, terrible streets. Other than that, like I say, I really do appreciate you keeping up PEG. We still have kids going over there playing in the park. We have dogs going over there with their families, and it's still a great neighborhood. But the one thing I do hear about everybody walking by is, when are they going to repair our streets? And it hasn't. 2 years, I'll probably see you in 2 years. So thank you. I apologize. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No worries. We have a policy where we don't respond from the dais, answer
Fair
questions.
enough.
But if you want to shoot myself and/or Councilmember Ambrose, your new District 2 representative, an email, we'll be happy to get back to you on those questions.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. With that, Pat Malone.
Good evening. My name's Pat Malone. I live at 6273 Kilmer Loop in Arvada. It's been a while since I've come here before you to express my concern for our immigrant friends, workers, and families who live in Arvada. And, you know, I get that no official and no city wants to be targeted in this environment, where the government chooses retaliation against people or organizations who show empathy for people they detest. It really isn't enough to just hope for the best. Beyond your civic responsibilities as council members, you're each a member of this community. Undoubtedly, you have neighbors who are immigrants, or maybe they simply have brown skin, which unfortunately cause enough to be a target for detention. Or maybe someone who is now at risk in our new world keeps your lawn mowed, or serves you at your favorite restaurant, or is an aide to your grandparent in assisted living. Or maybe someone in your own family has a green card or is a naturalized citizen, but is no longer confident that they are beyond the reach of unidentifiable masked men stopping and questioning them, or worse. I'm inviting each of you and the city staff to attend Arvadans for Progressive Action's October 4th meeting on the topic of immigration. It's being held at Stanley Lake Library, and it begins at 3 o'clock. That's a Saturday. We'll hear from a speaker who experienced the American immigration system in better days, and also from an immigrant activist who has formed a coalition of 26 immigrant protection teams throughout Colorado. Come as Arvadans, not as a mayor or a council person. Thank you for listening and considering my invitation.
Thank you. Finally, we have Ed Tomlinson.
Good evening. Criminals are roaming our neighborhoods. Citizens are arming themselves and adding more security. What you see across America is already here or on its way. Many elementary school students, violent students, who need last chance intervention, I am told, eventually committed over the decades 45 murders in their lifetime. By the time they are teenagers, the pattern is set. They are given a pass once, twice, 3 times. At 18, their record is often wiped clean, erasing the very warnings society needs. Now look at the adult system. Arvada county judges and attorneys often toss out multiple charges and prosecute only one, if at all. This reduces accountability to a fraction of the harm committed, at what cost to the victims and the public trust. But there are 3, 5, or even 15 outstanding warrants. Are we just issuing paperwork without teeth? To protect public safety, judges should reclassify warrants as no bond guaranteeing that the offenders are held in jail until court appearances or trial. Arvada had 1,800 outstanding warrants the last time I checked. That means hundreds of people are charged with crimes are not being held accountable. If we cannot hold repeat offenders accountable, regardless of race or citizenship, what message does that send to the community? At a minimum, judges should instruct police to bring in those with 3 or more warrants. Our legislature is expanding crime. B.J. Harper, with prior arrest, was arrested for a felony menacing charge. He chased and threatened with head shears someone who was walking their dog. He was released on personal reconnaissance with no valid address required. Why? Courts do not like cash bail. He was promptly released only to set a fire outside Westwoods Elementary School last Thursday. He again walks free via a small bond. But none of these matters if we do not have enough officers to do the job. I propose we raise Arvada police salaries by 10% to improve retention, fill the gap of missing officers, which is about 15, and compete with with Aurora's benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all the signups I have for this evening's public comment. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Please come on down. You can give that to Ms. Rush when you're, there you go. Thank you. Just name and address for the record and off you go.
Yep. Hi, my name's Derek. I live at 13937 West 65th. Yeah, and this is my first time talking to you all, so good to meet you all. I wanted to talk about housing policy, which might be a little boring, but first I wanted to thank you all for the work you have done, both you and the Planning Commission, to approve recent developments to help build the housing stock. It's a very important piece of tackling the affordability crisis that we have here in Arvada and in Colorado in general. I wanted to encourage you all to continue to push on this. These are wins for sure, but we need to keep the wins piling up, right? When you start to have some momentum, it's good to keep that momentum up. And so I wanted to talk about 2 different things. First, if you take a look at what's happening in Lakewood right now, they are doing a rezoning proposal. It's kind of in the middle of that. It's likely to pass, and they've done a really good job of simplifying the zoning codes, making it easier for infill, which we have a little bit more space to build out, which is great. But at some point, we're going to need infill, and having more bigger buckets of zoning allows us to allows people to redevelop land, do scrape and rebuild with a lot more ease, be able to meet the needs of the community at the time. So anyway, that's one thing I would encourage Arvada to kind of look to Lakewood and see what they're doing, and to see if any of those ideas make sense here in Arvada. Second, I would encourage also so one of the tools that the state of Colorado has taken away from local cities and municipalities is the ability to manage rent. So rent control or rent stabilization, this is a huge driver of rents going up. It's just rent going up, and that drives homelessness, that drives unaffordability, that drives people that have lived here, grew up here, want to stay here, having to leave to further exurbs or to other places that are cheaper. So one of the things that we can do is we could pass a rent stabilization package that wouldn't go into effect now, but would be going into effect in the future if the state were to ever repeal the 1981 law. And that's my time, so thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close public comment and I will move us into new business. We have 5 items on the consent agenda, so bear with me as I go through these. We'll open R25-078, a resolution authorizing designated city officials to act for and on behalf of the city of Arvada relating to financial transactions and further authorizing the use of facsimile signatures for certain financial transactions. R25-079, a resolution authorizing a First Amendment to an agreement between the city of Arvada and CDM Smith, Inc. for professional design and construction. Mr. Pfeiffer, it is not just you tonight. Construction phase services related to the North Trunk sewer improvements at West 86th Parkway, Beach Street to Moore Street in an amount not to exceed $416,020, thereby increasing the total contract amount to an amount not to exceed $912,162. R25-080, a resolution authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Arvada and Miller Pipeline, LLC for the North Trunk sewer 86th Parkway, Beach to Moore Street in TL2/3/Alcar-FM project number 24-SR-04 in an amount not to exceed $8,593,185. R25-081. A resolution authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Arvada and Mid-City Corporation for the 2024 Sanitary Sewer Open Cut project number 24-SR-01 in an amount not to exceed $1,677,411.56. And R25-082, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Arvada and the Church Ditch Water Authority for a license agreement in an amount not to exceed $14,000. Councilmember Ambrose.
If there's no discussion, I'll make the motion.
Please.
I move that the consent items numbered R25-078 through R25-082 be approved.
All votes are cast. That passes 6-0, with Councilmember Rupert being excused absence. We have 3 items on our resolutions this evening. The first is R25-083, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement concerning regional cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness. Mr. Wick, you have this item.
Thank you, Mayor. In the spring of 2025, the cities of Jefferson County and the county themselves participated in the Spring Forum on Homelessness to discuss and develop a coordinated regional response to homelessness. The forum focused on building regional strengths, reviewing local efforts, identifying shared challenges and successes, and aligning on a collaborative solution. And a key priority was the development of a unified cold weather response for the 2025-2026 cold weather season. As a result of these discussions, the city and county elected officials and city managers agreed on a collaborative approach to provide sheltering during severe weather events. Jefferson County and 6 of its municipalities, Arvada, Wheat Ridge, Edgewater, Golden, Lakewood, and Westminster have formed a regional partnership to address homelessness during severe cold weather. Authorized by state law, the parties have agreed to coordinate sheltering, including options at the Lakewood Navigation Center, the Jeffco Family Shelter, motel vouchers, and the MAC in Westminster. This collaboration aligns to protect public health, safety, and welfare of these communities and ours by providing a unified cold weather response. Each party will contribute funding proportionally to population, with Arvada committing $432,390 for the year. The city of Arvada currently does not have a dedicated cold weather sheltering location in place to address the needs of individuals experiencing homelessness during severe weather events. In the absence of this, Arvada faces significant limitations in its ability to provide emergency sheltering independently, particularly as demand continues to rise across the region. Participation in a regional cold weather response aligns directly with the City of Arvada's strategic goal of coordinating with neighboring jurisdictions to implement effective collaborative solutions to homelessness. By joining the intergovernmental agreement, Arvada has the opportunity to leverage shared resources, expand shelter capacity, and contribute to a unified approach that promotes the health, safety of those vulnerable across Jefferson County. The IGA directly aligns with Arvada's strategic goal of collaborating and coordinating with regional governments to advance service to individuals experiencing homelessness. As of tonight, the status of the IGA approval is that on September 9th, Golden approved the IGA. Tonight, our City Council is hearing this matter, as is Edgewater. The Jefferson County Commissioners today received a briefing from the county government related to this commitment and agreed to move forward with a hearing on September 23rd. And on September 22nd, the cities of Westminster, Wheat Ridge, and Lakewood will also hear this matter. The goal set at the Spring Forum was to have the IGA approved by all of the cities and the county by October 1st. And as previously stated, with these approvals, we will meet the objective of October 1st as directed by our elected officials at the Spring Forum. The Arvada team recommends that the council approve Resolution 25083, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement concerning regional cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness.
Thank you. Councilmember Ambrose.
I'd like to speak in favor of this and also reserve the motion, or?
You can reserve the motion. I'm going to allow questions before we speak before or against. Councilmember Mormon.
Thank you. I do have a question. Thank you, Mr. Wick, for bringing this forward. And I know you and I have talked about before our work with Suburban Studios. We have also Marshall Street Landing that'll be opening soon, that is a family tree project. And those will be serving people that potentially will be part of this population that we want to serve as part of severe weather. And I know that we're unsure right now about the continued funding of Suburban Studios. My hope is that we can find a way to continue that. I find it, right now, it's been a very successful program and want to see it continue in those efforts. So I guess my question is, once we get the funding secured for that, can we get credit with the IGA for the populations that we're serving, which is similar to Lakewood and other cities that have their different programs? I think, that you mentioned the Lakewood Navigation Center, which in a lot of ways as it evolves, as I understand it, will be providing a lot of similar services that we are providing through Suburban Studios and also like Marshall Street Landing.
Yes, thank you for your question, Councilmember Borman. So the funding is uncertain about Suburban Studios for the coming season, and that's one of the reasons why this was not included, set out aside in this IGA. Because the IGA is designed for 1 year, we do have the opportunity next year when we revisit the IGA as a collaborative group to re-look at some of the things that you're talking about if those programs actually come to a fruition. Our team is working now at looking at optional funding sources for the Suburban Studios program, as you talked about, and that is in progress right now, but we haven't heard whether or not additional funding would be coming that way for that program, so that's why that's not included specifically. But we'll have the opportunity next year to revisit that.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes, thank you, City Manager. I appreciate this explanation. Just had a few questions. So in terms of the motel vouchers, if we are transporting unhoused people to different motels, will we be transporting them back to their original landing space?
So that is the preferred strategy, is that we would do transportation both directions, and of course, that there's some challenges around that. Of course, is that we have to have available resources to be able to do that, but we can also leverage the RTD bus transportation system, and also Jefferson County has a Lyft concierge service, which could also help provide that service.
Great. And then using this model, will this be in place of the work that the Rising Church is doing via Mission Arvada?
Yes, right now that is what the plan would be. There hasn't been any discussion with me about the Rising being a severe weather shelter for this coming season.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Marriott.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. So the idea here is that all these communities are going to pool some money and turn it over to the control of, am I not mistaken, Jefferson County, is that correct?
Jefferson County is the fiscal agent, so we will provide part of the funding to them in November, and then funding after the first of the year, and then they will distribute the funds to the organizations that I listed earlier.
Okay, so they're fiscal agent, but they're also the operators. I mean, someone's going to have to go buy motel vouchers or pay for motel vouchers or things like that.
Yes.
Okay. Do we, as a part of that group, do we have any say-so or control over what they spend it on once we turn it over to them? Is there any kind of a governing structure where there's a board or anybody who can argue that we should do this instead of that or that instead of this?
So yes, and the city managers group, the intention is that the city managers group will meet regularly to receive reporting from Jefferson County about how those dollars are being spent, which in turn means that we could report back to the city council.
Okay. I also noticed in here that one of the places that was slated to get money out of this group is the Lakewood Navigation Center. Is that correct?
Yes.
My understanding, though, however, with that is that that's a kind of a permanent sheltering type of a setup. It's not a severe weather sheltering setup. Is that correct, or am I mistaken there?
So they are a transitional housing shelter. They aren't open any longer for severe weather sheltering, drop-in or walk-in traffic. But the idea is that there is, I think the number is approximately 135 individuals will be out of the severe weather and sheltered in the Lakewood Navigation, or the Lakewood Center during severe weather sheltering.
So I guess my question about that would be, you know, why is it that Lakewood kind of gets this special treatment where their existing shelter will get paid for out of this pool of funds that we and other communities are contributing for severe weather sheltering when other communities are not treated similarly? You know, in other words, Lakewood Shelter, and I'm sure they do good work, and I'm sure they need every penny they can get, but they're not a severe weather shelter. You can't argue that the people that are there would be in severe weather if that wasn't there, but that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of options besides that. And was there discussion amongst the city managers about the kind of the equity of doing that? That seems like that's taking money slated for severe weather sheltering and diverting it to something else, thereby reducing the amount that can be spent on severe weather sheltering.
So the direction that we received at the Spring Forum was to create a regional collaborative solution to addressing severe weather sheltering, during the winter season. And Lakewood is like many of the rest of our cities, is that we don't have an emergency shelter for walk-in traffic like you would see, for example, like what happened last year at the Rising, for example. But the idea was that about 135 individuals in Lakewood would be sheltered, so not out in severe weather. And because we agreed to collaboratively come together and all contribute as a countywide regional effort, that is why part of this funding is going to the Lakewood housing. This sort of gets to Randy's question about, how would we receive credit, for example, with suburban studios? And there are some similarities. The difference for us being is that we don't know that our funding is going to be continuing into the future, so that uncertainty, at least for right now, takes us out of that consideration, but it could be considered in the future.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference also is that we're paying for the Suburban Studios program with a grant. We're not paying for that with Arvada taxpayers' dollars.
That's right.
However, I think the severe weather dollars are coming from Arvada taxpayers. It's not coming from a grant that comes from somewhere else. So
yes.
I think that's the difference. So the first iteration of this, we heard there was the possible plan of withholding about $100,000 of our contribution for an Arvada-based severe weather sheltering program. Is that off the table, and now we're going to just turn over all the money to the county?
So it's not off the table because we have had an organization that was interested in trying to provide severe weather sheltering for Arvada, and they were unable to secure a location and the volunteers that would be needed in order to operate it. So that pursuit was terminated. We have since been exploring several different options for providing sheltering in Arvada that we have not successfully found a location that would be appropriate for this. And so while the $100,000 was identified to be set aside to support something in Arvada specifically, that has not materialized. And so in the event that that does not materialize, then the $435 would be provided to the county for the shared financial responsibility.
Okay. So the other moving piece of this seems to be what the Rising's plan is, and I've heard a variety of different things, everything from we have no plan to do that this year to, well, if we see a need, we might feel compelled to step in. Do you have any update for us on what happens, what happens there?
So I have not heard anything from the Rising about them wanting to pursue severe weather sheltering for this year. That I have not heard anything about that. The information that I have heard anecdotally is what we're all facing, which are the challenges related to volunteers, finding enough staffing to be able to provide for the severe weather sheltering and provide security and all the things that go around with that. The Rising, I think, could make the decision to open for severe weather sheltering, but I have not had any information that that's what their intention is at this point.
Okay. I don't want to put you on the spot and make you make a decision on the spot, but would it be fair to feel like that potentially withheld $100,000 could maybe be designated to not go to the Rising for them to repeat the efforts that they've made in the past?
So I think my answer to that would be, this would be a discussion I would want to have with our council, because this is a community discussion that as representatives of our community, I would want to discuss this with our council and reach a decision on that.
Okay. Last question, and I think this may be for the city attorney as much as for you, but at a work session, I had suggested that a positive course of action for the city here would be to include overnight sheltering or severe weather sheltering within part of our land development code, and require a conditional use permit for it to be done, so that at least there would be due process if an organization were to decide, particularly at a last minute, to do overnight severe weather sheltering, that the neighbors wouldn't be just victimized by it or subjected to it, that there would be at least some form of ask and ability for affected people to comment and you know, kind of a reasonable governmental decision as opposed to just somebody deciding one day to do something. Have we explored doing that? Is that something that's slated to be brought to the council at a later date? Can you update me on where that might be?
Sure. We've had some internal conversations about how this might be structured and look. We don't have an ordinance prepared yet, but you know, we can do that and have that scheduled to bring before council, assuming that's something council wants to see in the future.
Okay. I don't know what the process for doing it would be. My suggestion would be, I mean, poll the council tonight if you want, if that's what you're looking for, or some other formal way, but my suggestion would be that you do put that in front of the council. I think that's an idea that has plenty of merit, that and some council members have thought was a reasonable idea to do, and I think it ought to have more than just go by the wayside. So I don't know what format you'd want to do that, but I'd suggest that at some point we at least take a look at it.
Understood. Thank you.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I just had a couple of points of clarification for myself and for whoever is watching. So funds will only be expended when the shelter is activated, correct?
Yes.
So there could be in the $439,000 some odd dollars, we could actually have a reserve or a credit if the shelter isn't needed as predicted. So I just want to make sure that that is my understanding. Okay. And then I think it's important that we understand that the cost share is based upon population within Jefferson County of each of the cities, because I think when we look at this, it looks like Westminster's not paying their fair share, but a bulk of their city is in Adams County. Am I understanding that correctly as well?
Yes, that's correct. And Westminster actually, I believe, is paying in both counties.
Right.
But yes, the Westminster part of their jurisdiction in Jeffco is smaller.
Right, and we have a portion of Arvada that's in Adams, but we're making that adjustment. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding that correctly. Thank
correct,
you.
yeah.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
I just want clarification on the Echo up in Evergreen. It talks about $200,000, but is that being paid directly from the county, not part of this pool? It's in the scope, though.
Yeah, it is part of the pool.
So they're only going to house 20 people, and they're getting $200,000.
Yeah, I don't know what the financial makeup is of ECHO specifically, but I know that it is part of those pool dollars.
So on the scope, what confused me was we listed where the dollars options are. They did call them options at the top, but then ECHO was way down on the bottom of the narrative, way outside of that itemized list. So that's why I didn't know what ECHO was doing.
Yeah, they're a part of that.
Yeah, that doesn't paint that well on here. Just maybe want to talk to Jefferson County about that, because in the sheltering options, it's not listing ECHO, but it does down below. So the reason why I bring it to you is because the fiscal reconciliation decision-making is the city managers. So I think even though those are options, I think we should kind of consider that, because if we're only holding $100,000 for Arvada, but we're giving $200,000, I'm looking at holistically, not just us, holistically the program, $200,000 to Evergreen ECHO for 20 people, way up in the mountains, but yet we only hold back $100,000 for a potential. It just doesn't seem equitable.
Yeah, so I think part of the answer is that ECHO serves the broader mountain community, not just Evergreen. It's not exclusively to that. That's just where they're located. The 100,000 set back for Arvada was just based on an estimate that
From
we
us.
made about, from us about what we thought we might need. And without the operating experience yet, it's a little bit hard to determine. And again, when we look at this agreement for next year, if we need to do it again next year, we'll have better information to refine what's actually needed.
Okay. Yeah, just make sure we're watching those equities. And I get that was kind of our earmark for it, and I agree after a year of this, we can fine tune this next year. But this is an annual agreement, right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have. Thank you.
And quickly to clarify, with the 100, so if we were to use the 100,000 in Arvada, if we were to find a facility and whatnot, folks that are in Arvada are not required to use that specific facility. That's one option, but we're still a part of the larger program, so folks could still get vouchers to the hotel. They could still be taken to Echo or to Lakewood or something like that. They might wind up elsewhere based off of fit in need and what is appropriate.
Yeah, it's very unlikely anyone here would end up at Echo, and because Lakewood is not a walk-in shelter, we wouldn't be going there either, but we would be using vouchering, potentially the MAC, or other options that may materialize during this time.
Okay, that makes sense. And for clarification, I was thinking motels in Lakewood, but I wasn't clear, so that works. Okay, so with that, I see no additional lights. Councilmember Ambrose, you have the motion, and then you wish to speak to it?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to speak in support of this. I think.
Make the motion first, then comments.
Okay. So I move to. Thank you, Councilmember Davis. I move that R25-083, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement concerning regional cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness be approved.
Now you may speak to the motion.
I just want to really appreciate how much you have been working regionally to make this a solution. The year before last, the severe weather shelter network closed down and the faith community stepped up. And I really think that they heard that the location in Old Town Arvada was not a good location to try and do severe weather sheltering. And I appreciate how Arvada, Lakewood, and other city officials worked with the county to get a regional solution together so that we can be more coordinated. And there were things that I never thought about with this coordination, like what defines severe weather, right? Like here in Arvada, we're like 32 and below, that's pretty cold. But then it's like, oh, but it might be 40 degrees and wet, it's snowing. And it was different from city to city. So there were things like that that helped the regionalization effort itself helped standardize these things, and we also had expertise that the faith community didn't really have, like an emergency manager who was able to establish at what point do you need to bring people in to prevent loss of life or limb, which in the long run saves Arvadans lots of money because we don't have that extra pressure on our public system. And so you're not paying for emergency room stays for folks, for other things that end up costing us because we're taking more of a proactive solution. I also appreciate this collaboration as laying down the groundwork for a regional solution around homelessness in general. I appreciate how the cities were able to come together and find a solution for severe weather. It's not perfect. We need to work with the other cities. We need to figure out how this can work, but I am so glad that we were able to come together and come up with something instead of this ragtag patch of like, well, you're in Lakewood, so you go here, or, you know, or this shelter isn't open yet, or we don't have enough volunteers for this, or what, you know, this person was taken to a random shelter and they have no way of getting back to where they were found. So thinking through all the concerns that we have heard from our community, and I also appreciate this as part of a larger strategy to be engaging the community about, you know, homelessness is always one of the top concerns in our citizen engagement survey that they want City Council to activate on, but we have to do more work about engaging the community about what it is they want us to do. Severe weather, obviously, is something we want people to not lose their lives or not lose their limbs because of exposure, but how do we move forward with a more proactive, long-term solution? It requires a lot more work of engaging the city, engaging our community to find the solutions that can work for Arvadans. So I very much appreciate all the work that you've done and the other city managers and the county in coming together for the standardization so that we have a regional solution, and look forward to participating regionally some more to be able to have more proactive solutions for homelessness.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Thank you, Mayor. I will echo some of the comments made by my fellow council member Ambrose. Really appreciate the work that you, Don, and the rest of the team and the county and the other city managers have done on this far. You know, we as a council, when we've had long discussions about homelessness, and we've said often that this needs to be a regional solution. We need to be working and collaborating regionally, and this I see as the first step in doing that. So I am very excited that we are taking that action today with our other fellow cities and the county. And as Councilmember Ambrose said, hoping that this is the beginning of further actions taken regionally as we try to wrestle with this challenge that we all are facing. So thank you for the work, and I look forward to this being successful. I hope that we can, let us know how we can continue to be engaged in this to make it successful. I know that you and I and some other council members have had long conversations about can we find a shelter in Arvada, and as you stated, we have not yet found one. So my hope is that as winter is approaching quickly, that we are able to use the vouchers through this program and make sure that we don't have any individuals lose their lives this winter, and we have a response. So thank you for that.
Hey, Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Yeah, not to repeat some of the conversations, I appreciate absolutely what my peers are saying. What I appreciate about all this, Don, and you can take it back to the other cities, is that we keep saying that it's a regional issue and we need to work together, and we're actually seeing that. It's taken years to actually deliver on that concept, and you're delivering on it right now. So, and the other thing is I think it highlights, it's not that Arvada is saying no against homeless shelters necessarily. It's the fact we can't find an operator, we can't find somebody to do it, and we can't find the appropriate place. So those elements need to come together, and the fact that we can put together funding and contribute to a regional issue, I think helps solve our issues when we can't completely solve it ourselves. I agree with my peers that this should be the beginning of a regional conversation that is actionable, and hopefully we see a huge benefit off of this. Because I've always said if we can't do something physically, how do we contribute? Like, how do we help fund? How do we get the right nonprofit at the table? How do we get the people that are experts? We're not experts in a lot of this situation, but if you get the right people at the table, we can make things happen. So I just want to echo what my peers are saying and appreciate that we're moving forward. So I'll be supporting it as well.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for all the work that you have done with the regional partners. I did want to caution, in these tough economic times, that we prevent our scope creep. I would like to make sure that we stay the course and that we understand what our mission here is. And I'm hoping that maybe some of the measures that we're taking will also dovetail with our homeless action plan when we get it together to prevent homelessness, to really work on the root causes of homelessness so that we will eventually have less people entering the unhoused community. But this is a great first step, and hopefully the next step is working with all our regional partners on preventing homelessness.
Councilmember Marriott.
I've got some comments. So I'm going to be voting no here, and here's why. Starts off broadly that this is human services that we now as a city are going to be contributing money to. And I want to note that this is real money. This is tax dollars from the citizens of Arvada that will not be used to repave streets in a neighborhood. Won't be used to improve parks. It won't be used for any of the purposes that cities exist for. Instead, it's going to be used for a purpose that the state, through the counties, exist for, which is human services. And I think it's pretty disingenuous of Jefferson County to be doing this, particularly in an environment where they just received a $40 or $50 million annual windfall a year ago when they removed themselves from Tabor limits by a vote of the people. Jefferson County should be taking this on. It's their responsibility, and they should be doing it. And we shouldn't be spending the money we would use on city services for something that's human services, not city services. So that's number one. Number two, this plan has a couple of, I think, flaws, and maybe they're of necessity, but I kind of don't think so. You know, my understanding is that within the region, which includes Denver, there are shelter beds every night somewhere already, and that this isn't so much a capacity issue. It might be a where it is issue, but we're creating probably the sheltering of choice when this is open. Somebody who's in a congregate shelter in Denver will be able to get on the train and ride to Arvada and get a motel voucher. And with that motel voucher, then they can have their own motel room, which beats the heck out of a congregate shelter. And you know what? I don't blame them for that. I would, in their situation, I would absolutely do the same. However, having run a business around motels for years and years and years, these motel rooms are then used for a lot of purposes. They run businesses out of them, most of them illegal businesses. They congregate in those hotel rooms doing different things. And I don't see, where the logic exists that we create sheltering of choice when it's cold through a program like this, because we don't have a lot of other options. And I will admit, we don't have a lot of other options. It's not like we have a congregate shelter option to do instead. But I think it's a big flaw in this program that we're going to potentially be filling this up first, and those who can't get this will go to the existing sheltering arrangements that exist in the region. I think in the absence of this, they would be doing that anyway. Third, I'm troubled by the contribution to the Lakewood shelter. I understand they're doing good work and they're sheltering a number of people. Their shelter will be temporary, permanent, whatever you call it, but it's not severe weather sheltering. It's get back on your feet sheltering, or sheltering until you can exit the situation you're in. It's not severe weather sheltering, and I don't feel that it's just for our citizens to contribute their tax money to something that Lakewood has chosen to do. Again, this is coming at the expense of things that we would normally do, and for us to kind of play the shell game of supporting Lakewood shelter instead of doing our obligations, I find that hard. And then last, this plan doesn't come with any concrete restriction or prohibition on the Rising operating a severe weather shelter. Now, I'm pleased to hear that the Rising does not intend to have a severe weather shelter this year, but I don't think they intended to have one 2 years ago either, but yet they ended up having one last year. And I will commend them for their wanting to solve a need that they see. But the problem with the Rising doing their severe weather shelter, that they can stand up at any moment that they feel there's a need, is that it comes at a great cost to their neighbors, to those around them. Anyone who lives in Old Town, visits Old Town, or particularly runs a business in Old Town is dramatically harmed by that. And it's an asymmetric effect that there's a lot of harm over a lot of people for them to create a benefit for a few. And I would like to see that if we are going to spend the Arvada taxpayers' money, and that at the very minimum we would get that situation solved. And this program hopes to, but there's nothing in there that's concrete that requires we don't. And I understand, we're somewhat hamstrung there. We don't have the magic wand to do, but I would like to have seen something concrete in here to do that. So for all those reasons, I'm voting no on this. I think that, I don't want to see people struggling when it's cold outside either, but I just don't feel like this is the best way to go about this, nor in the best interest of the taxpayers of Arvada.
Thank you, Councilmember Marriott. So I'll weigh in with my own thoughts, and I will be supporting this measure as well. Firstly, Mr. Wick, I want to thank you and the other managers. It was no small task when we met in April and said, figure this out by October 1. I understand it may seem easy, find a building, find an operator, but these kinds of issues with the logistical hurdles, once you scrape past the surface, are extremely complex and difficult. So I know it's taken a tremendous amount of effort and thoughtfulness and intention, and I just want to commend you and the other managers for reaching this agreement. It isn't perfect, of course not. Nothing ever is. We do the best we can with the resources that we have available to us, and we continuously strive to improve, which is what an annual agreement will allow us to do. We'll take the information, we'll learn our lessons, and we'll make it better year after year. And so I thank you for that. In addition, I do hear Mr. Marriott's costs. I would love to be spending these dollars on the roads and sidewalks and sewer lines of Arvada, but we don't get to pick the challenges that we have. We have to step up and face the challenges that are before us with as much grace and dignity as we are able to do, and with as much, frankly, sharing the burden around as we can so that we can meet our needs while also being able to serve the residents. I view this not just as a health and human services issue, of course it is one, but it's also a public safety issue. To Mr. Marriott's point, when we have issues in Old Town, it is because of break-ins and other things of that nature. Well, what will happen if someone is outside on the streets when it is approaching 0 degrees? Do you think they're going to curl up in a ball and just stay there and say, tough luck? No, humans will try to survive. And so by being able to enable that in a safe, organized manner that is thoughtful, we improve the public safety for all of our residents across Arvada. It is our shared responsibility to do so. And to the comment, I will push back respectfully against my colleague. There are not enough beds. We saw this last year. Denver got full. Every available bed in Denver that I was made aware of was full, and we had individuals coming into Arvada, into Aurora, into other cities in the metro area looking for shelter. This is a regional issue, and it extends far past Colorado in our region as well. But we will tackle the issue that we have together, and I commend the regional approach that we are taking in Jefferson County, in Adams County, and beyond. So with that, I will call the vote. That passes 5-1, with Councilmember Marriott being a no vote and Councilmember Rupert being an excused absence. Next, I will open R25-076, a resolution authorizing a contract to buy and sell real estate by and between the City of Arvada and the Keller Family Limited Partnership, LLLP, for the purchase of real property located at 6809 State Highway 93, Golden, Colorado 80403. Ms. Rhodes, I believe you have this item.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, City Council. The Arvada Water Treatment Plant, AWTP, has served the community for decades, and it's nearing the end of its useful life. To continue delivering high-quality, reliable drinking water, the AWTP is being replaced with a new water treatment plant at a new location that can more effectively meet current and future demand, comply with water quality standards, and improve sustainability and resilience. Through a rigorous process, the 25.257-acre property located at 6809 State Highway 93, Golden, Colorado 80403 was identified as the site for the new water treatment plant. The city entered into contract negotiations with the Keller Family Limited Partnership, LLLP, for the purchase of the property, and subject to approval by City Council, the city and the Kellers have reached an agreement to purchase the property for $5,730,000. Attached to this resolution is the contract, and it is substantially the same form as the final contract. Since the agenda package was published, the following updates were made to the agreement. The date was updated from September 5th, 2025 to tonight, September 16th, 2025. And sections 2.4, 30, 31.1 of the contract were also updated from 25.251 acres to 25.257 acres to more accurately reflect the size of the property being purchased. The Arvada team is here tonight to answer any questions the council may have on the agreement, the design, or other next steps for the project. And the owner is also in attendance, and I'd like to thank Ms. Richardson and Mr. Keller, who couldn't be here this evening, for all the work with us to reach this agreement. The Arvada team recommends that the City Council approve R25076, a resolution authorizing a contract to buy and sell real estate by and between the City of Arvada and the Keller Family Limited Partnership, LLLP, for the purchase of real property located at 6809 State Highway 93, Golden, Colorado 80403.
Thank you. Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Serve the motion as well as ask a question when.
The motion is reserved, and ask away.
It's probably a no duh, but I want to bring it up. Let's make sure we annex in the property. I know sometimes we do this and then the annex part gets a little wonky. I mean, we have some properties that we own that are in the county still, I believe, and let's just make sure when I don't know what the next steps are, but there's always that bow on this. So that would be, I guess it's more of a statement than a question, but let's just make sure we do that.
To answer your question, yes, that is the next step for the process.
Okay, and if so, just I think from a security perspective, I wonder if our neighbors there would want to be annexed in as well, Denver Water specifically, so I'm asking.
We're happy to start some conversations on that and can do
Just
that.
from it's a critical infrastructure. I think it might be important to the region. But I'll pause and see if there's any other questions.
I see another lights, but I do have a question. Ms. Rhodes, could you just quickly, for the public's awareness, because obviously we have a water treatment facility. I think most folks, at least those who have been watching along with us, understand that it's reaching its critical end of life. But could you just quickly share why we're purchasing new property as opposed to scraping and rebuilding on site?
Absolutely. The city team conducted essentially a full analysis of alternatives that would help us plan into the future for replacement of ultimately both of our water treatment plants. We looked at options to expand within our existing properties on existing sites, as well as a number of different sites across the western side of the city. Ultimately, this site was selected because of a number of different design criteria that allow us to most efficiently deliver the project, but also it serves us in the future for expansion needs.
Okay, thank you. Also want to just quickly thank the property owner for being here this evening. Mr. Pfeiffer, I see no other lights.
All right, I move that Resolution 25-076, a resolution authorizing a contract to buy and sell real estate by and between the City of Arvada and the Keller Family Limited Partnership, LLLP, for the purchase of real property located at 6809 State Highway 93, Golden, Colorado 80403. We'll have to change that to Arvada, Colorado, hopefully, but we'll see.
Agreed on that one. That passes 6-0 with Councilmember Rupert being in excused absence. Finally, I will open R25-077, a resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the City of Arvada and Aly Harmon, appointing her as municipal court relief judge for 2025. I believe Pedro Guimarain, you have this item.
Thank you, Mayor Simpson, and good evening, Council. Before you this evening is the resolution titled R25-077, which is a resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the City of Arvada and Ms. Aly Harmon for the position of Municipal Court Relief Judge. The authority is vested with City Council pursuant to Arvada City Code Section 5874 to approve such a resolution. 5879 further provides that relief judges will be appointed pursuant to the terms of an annual employment agreement, which is attached to this agenda item for your review. This resolution would authorize Aly Harmon, under the terms of the attached employment agreement, to serve as a municipal court relief judge in the absence or need of the Arvada Municipal Court presiding judge, Judge Kurtz, or as the docket requires for additional courtrooms or judges to preside on a particular day. It is the Arvada City team's recommendation that you do approve R25-077. Both myself and Judge Kurtz are here this evening to answer any questions that you might have. And should the body move to approve this resolution, I would turn the microphone over to Judge Kurtz for the next steps.
All right, Councilmember Davis.
If there are no questions, I'll make the motion.
All yours.
I move that City Council approve R25-077, a resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the City of Arvada and Aly Harmon, appointing her as a municipal court relief judge for 2025, be approved.
All votes are cast. That passes 6-0 with Councilmember Rupert being an excused absence. All right, I would love to invite down Judge Kurtz and Ms. Harmon for her swearing in. And Ms. Harmon, if you have anyone here with you, we'd like to invite them down as well to join you if they so would like to.
All right, give me 1 second here while I
No
get
worries.
synced up, and then we'll.
Sir, if you want a better view, you can come over here. I'm not going to get mad at you. Come on over. You can get a good view of it. You're not going to get in any trouble. These are special moments. You go ahead.
All right, please raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Aly Harmon,
I, Aly Harmon,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and the charter and the laws
and the charter and the laws
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the city of Arvada,
of the city of Arvada,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Congratulations,
so much.
Ms. Harmon. Judge Harmon.
Thank you.
And then I'll have you sign them. Thank you. That'd be great, thank you. And we'll do a quick picture up front with council, if that's okay?
Absolutely. Come on
Very
up.
good. Here, let me get this too.
Thank you very much. All right. We have no ordinances or first reading this evening, as well as no public hearings. So I will turn it over to City Council for second public comment. Almost got me there. Ms. Moore. All right. This is, Ms. Moore, you know the rules. This is our 5-minute public comment limit. Name, address, and then I will ask that you fill out one of our nice little forms for Ms. Rush before you leave.
Thank you. Yes, Mindy Moore, 11570 West 70th Place. I want to thank our City Council for voting to approve and to enter into the intergovernmental agreement for homelessness response during severe weather this coming season. The fact that 6 cities and a county, as well as other unincorporated areas, are all coming together to agree, I think is just wonderful, and I really commend our city manager, Mr. Wick, for representing Arvada in this and making this a reality. So thank you. There are just a couple of points I did want to bring up. The number of homeless or unhoused individuals in Arvada, from looking at data at Mission Arvada over the years, the majority of them are either Arvada residents, they grew up in Arvada, they've gone to Arvada West High School, or they live in Jefferson County. They numerically are not all coming on the G line from Denver, as many people like to think. Secondly, we are part of the Metro Denver Housing Initiative, but Homeless Initiative. We and our two wonderful homeless navigators, as well as Mission Arvada, use a system called HMIS, the Homeless Management Information System, which tracks individuals, where they're from, where they're coming to, and it is my understanding that when the motel vouchers are available, our wonderful navigators, Hudson and Alex, will be looking in HMIS to see where people are from, and as needed, we'll be prioritizing the motel vouchers, not just giving them randomly to people taking the G line from Denver. So I think that's one important consideration for people to understand. The Echo Shelter in Evergreen is actually open every day during the winter season. It's not just for severe weather, so that's another cost factor that for what Echo needs to stay open. So I just wanted to mention that. And finally, the wonderful job that our navigators are doing with city support at Suburban Studios for 35 households. I do hope that there is a way for it to continue, and if it does, I sincerely hope that the other cities and county would allow the $100,000 that right now is earmarked for congregate shelter in Arvada. If that does not come to pass this winter, I hope there's a way that $100,000 could go to help extend the program at Suburban Studios. Just some thoughts, and I just want to thank you all again so much.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close the second public comment and open it to City Council for reports. Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have two announcements. One is this Saturday, there's a community food drive for Community Table, and that's from 10 to 2 at 12995 West 72nd Avenue. So I encourage all to bring donations there. And then that is at the Church of Latter-day Saints right across from the Apex. And they are having a service project at the same time from 8 to 12, and then a barbecue from 12 to 2.
Thank you.
Oh,
Councilmember?
sorry, I did have one more announcement.
Go for it.
My apologies. Also, on September 26th, which is a Friday, it's a fourth Friday in Old Town, so I hear it's going to be a big deal, and so I encourage everyone to go and attend. It'll probably be my first fourth Friday, so I'm excited.
So if I may, it's going to be a very special fourth Friday. It's going to be way bigger than usual, and I hear there's going to be a band with music. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that on September 11th, I attended the memorial climb, the 9/11 memorial climb with Arvada Police and Arvada Fire, and recognized that this was the third anniversary of Dylan Vakoff's passing. And it was an emotional day, met with the Vakoff family. They were very thankful that we were all there. So I just wanted to share with you what a wonderful day it was. It was just a day of fellowship, music, lots of laughter, but also heavy hearts and lots of thoughts. So thank you, Arvada PD, for allowing me to join you in that endeavor, and I look forward to doing that year after year.
I will note that on Saturday, I went to the Arvada Vitality Alliance softball tournament. Multiple city teams competed, and congrats to everybody who got out and enjoyed a little ball. The championship game is always between Arvada Fire and Arvada PD, and it did get rained out, but before it got rained out, APD was leading 13-5. So we're calling that a win for APD this year. Fire won last year, so congrats to the PD team. Mr. Wick, do you have any items for us?
Just a couple of things. First, next week you have a workshop on certified local government, and so that'll be a good information session. And then also, a couple of weekends ago, there were a number of us from the city team that met with the Leiden Rock residents to talk about emergency preparedness, evacuation routes, and we were doing this through an innovation session that a consultant by the name of Field Innovation Team came and assisted in the effort. And I thought it was a very productive day, and we have some solutions that both the Leiden Rock community and the city are going to be working to implement. And I just really appreciate the Leiden Rock community for coming out, being a part of that, and continuing to work with the city for especially emergency preparedness, in particular with wildfire. So it was a great Saturday. It was a long day, but I think it was worth the effort. Thank you.
Excellent. Ms. Morris?
Nothing from me, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right, we stand adjourned.